What's up, guys? I am Aaron. This is W3TV, and welcome back to some more Warcraft action. I know it's been a while since I've casted here for the YouTube channel, but I do want to change that now. And today we have an exciting matchup. It is the WEL, the Warcraft Esports League All-Stars, and it is between Lawliet and WFZ. This is a best of 5 between these two Asian players. It's Korea versus China, so an exciting matchup. This is the tournament put on by Yumiko, and I don't want to waste a lot of time before we get into the video, but there is one thing I want to say. We are going to be changing up the videos on the YouTube channel now. Instead of splitting every video up into individual videos, it will be one continuous video. I know it will be long, but I think it's better because of the sidebar on YouTube. It's changed the algorithm for how the related videos show up, so sometimes you can't find game number 4 or game number 5 in a best of 5. It's difficult, and it's a bit easier for me to upload a single video. And at the same time, I think that it's better if you're watching the videos, you don't know who's going to win. In a best of 3 or a best of 5, if you know there are only 3 replays in a best of 5, well, you know that whoever wins the first game wins the second and third as well. Having it as one continuous video should make that a bit better. You won't really know who wins what. And I will put little links in the bottom of the video that will go to the timestamps for this video, so you can watch game number 1 and then come back and just click on the timestamp for game number 2 and continue where you left off. So I do think that this is the best way to go for YouTube videos, so that is what we're going to be doing from now on. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with Lawliet versus WFZ, game number 1 here for WEL All-Stars. We do have in the bottom WFZ, the Chinese Undead player, spawning, and his opponent, Lawliet, spawning at the top right. Lawliet actually coming off of a win. If you win in WEL, you continue in the next match. It's kind of King of the Hill style. So Lawliet did actually beat ZDR, the Chinese Orc player, to get to this matchup here against WFZ, and we do have him on Nomad Isles, one of Lawliet's best maps in my opinion. But WFZ is arguably one of the best undead players in China, maybe the best player, the best undead player rather, in the world. He's personally my favorite undead player. He is so strong. I personally believe that WFZ is better than Ted. I think he's one of the best players in China right now, and he's continuing to show top results. So I do believe that this will be a tough matchup for Lawliet, but this is Lawliet's best map. Lawliet loves this map. He loves to go Warden. He did do an altar build here, so we can see if he will go the Warden after all, after this Moonwell finishes. And there is the Warden indeed. Lawliet loves to play Warden here on Nomad Isles. He loves to really power creep this Warden up, try to get to level 5 as fast as possible, and, well, at least level 3 as fast as possible, and then try to get level 5 on this Warden, and really just kind of play base defense, getting this Warden up to level 5. So we can see if Lawliet will be doing that. But we do have in the Undead base a standard ghoul build here, so there will be some harassment from the Death Knight. And since he is going to be up against a Warden, he can get Coil first. Sometimes you see Undeads going for Aura first, and that's typically up against a Demon Hunter when you see that, because you don't want to go Coil first against a Demon Hunter who has Mana Burn. But it will be a Demon Hunter against Warden here, game number 1 of WEL. And now the creeping has started here for Lawliet. So as I said, he will try to power creep his Warden up very quickly. It's something he does very often on this map, and he's very strong on this map. You can see he's adding another Moonwell in his base already in case there's any push by ghouls or anything. He wants to have quite a few Moonwells there to keep his Warden alive. There's a Ghoul Scout here by his opponent, WFZ. He's trying to do some damage on one of these Wisps here. If he can continue to damage this Wisp, if the Death Knight gets up here, he will be able to coil that Wisp and kill it. But a Shadow Strike going off now on this Ghoul, so Lawliet did pick up Shadow Strike on his Warden and not Phantom Knives. He'll try to pick off this Ghoul here. And the Death Knight, it looks like, is making his way up towards this Ghoul now, and ouch! A bad mistake there from WFZ, not getting that Death Knight there in time. He did coil that Ghoul, but it died anyway. And now we have Lawliet continuing to creep, level 2 already here on the Warden, and a very nice item for the Warden. He picked up a Pendant of Energy, which gives a lot of mana to this Warden as the Warden starts to chase the Death Knight there. Now moving back toward his creep camp, this Ancient of War taking quite a bit of damage, but he does have extra wisps here on the trees if he does need to repair that, but it looks like the AOW will survive. Meanwhile, the Death Knight trying to do some damage to these wisps here. He does have Death Coil on this Death Knight, so he can pick off one of these wisps maybe, and there goes one wisp to a Death Coil there. He does have this Skeleton Warrior here trying to do some damage to another wisp, but Lawliet building a third Moonwell in his base now as he pushes the Undead out of here, and the Death Knight forced to run away. So here is that Death Knight running away. You can see that a lot of ghouls were produced here by WFZ, the Undead player, so he will most likely do some creeping of his own, trying to get some experience on his hero. He saw that the Warden is level 2 already, and
a player's forces are under attack.
Lawliet definitely wants to get that Warden up to 3 before the Death Knight gets 3. WFZ trying to add a little experience on his hero. Doesn't want it to be too much at a disadvantage in hero levels. He's probably aware that Lawliet likes to creep up on this map with this Warden, so it looks like he's decided to end his harass of the Night Elf player. I guess the Warden would be able to do quite a bit of damage to the Death Knight and these ghouls with Shadow Strike, so looks like WFC is just going to continue to do some creeping of his own. Now moving down to his Goblin Laboratory, so he will be able to pick up level 2 here on his Death Knight. You can see that Lawliet, though, is already halfway into level 3, actually over that, and he is going to end up getting very close to level 3 on this camp. I'm not sure if this will give him exactly 3, or if he'll be a few experience shy. It looks like he will probably pick up level 3 from this camp here. So level 3 already on the Warden, and there is the level 3. And now the Undead, though, you can see that level 2 on the Death Knight, and he's creeping out this Sea Turtle here, so he'll get quite a bit of experience of his own. But a few mercenaries now being added to the army of Lawliet, and you can see that he has started his tier 2 tech here, which is quite a bit late. So the tier 2 tech of Lawliet was extremely delayed, and he's moving his Ancient of War around. But a very late tech for the Night Elf player. Maybe he was expecting some sort of ghoul push, but you can see that a second crypt has been added here in WFZ's base and a graveyard, so he will be going for gargoyles, and there is the first couple of gargs being produced. But the tech is really late here for WFZ. I mean, for Lawliet, rather. Oh, it looks like it's because he added another Ancient of War. So this is what I was talking about Lawliet power creeping this map and going so fast. He's built a second Ancient of War here outside of another mercenary camp, and he picks up a second Pendant of Energy while he's harassing with his level 3 Warden here. And it looks like the Warden wasn't able to do too much damage here. The Death Knight is there with these ghouls as well. But already 3 1/4 here for the Warden as Lawliet continues to creep up all over the map with this Ancient of War. He does have another Ancient of War waiting outside of his shop. So power creeping going on here for the Korean Night Elf player. But a couple of gargoyles have been added now for WFZ. So it looks like he will do some harassment here. But there's that second Pendant of Energy, which will be an amazing item here for the Warden. She already has 465 mana, and she's going to add another 150. So it's so much mana on the Warden. Lawliet will be able to spam Fan of Knives as well as Shadow Strike. I'm not sure if he's skilled both of those or not, or if he went with Blink. But typically you see the Warden changing over to Fan of Knives later on to do some harassment to the Acolytes inside of the Undead base. A Lich now being added for WFC. He is only level 2 on this Death Knight, kind of sitting in his base, regenerating some HP, and the Warden coming in here right as soon as the Undead looked like he was about to leave his base. So unfortunate timing there for Lawliet as he goes to do some harassment, but unable to do so, as the Death Knight was in his base, and these gargoyles now trying to harass these wisps. There are a couple of Troll Berserkers as well as an Archer, though, in Lawliet's base, and a couple of ghouls now sitting outside, or gargoyles sitting outside the mercenary camp there, waiting to do some more harassment, trying to find some free wisps to kill. And there are 3 sitting outside this tree line here, and WFC spots them, so he will be able to take down at least one of these wisps here as they try to run back towards the base and make it to the Moonwells, 1 detonating, so no experience for the Death Knight. You can see that the Death Knight hasn't added much experience at all, so he's still only level 2. The Warden, on the other hand, 3.5 already, and he does have this Ancient of War here right outside of the Goblin Merchant, so more power creeping here by Lawliet as he continues to run around with his Warden, trying to stop this gargoyle harassment. The gargoyles do see the creeping here, and they will pick off this Troll Shadow Priest, it looks like, and now actually deciding to turn around there. So the gargoyles, and now getting the creeps as well, so the gargoyles now forced to turn around. They weren't able to take down that Shadow Priest, but now the Death Knight has made it here, and those guards finally pick off one of those units of Lawliet. He does have the Lich here as well as quite a few ghouls, so Lawliet needs to be careful as he runs away here. Looks like an archer will fall. Lawliet now trying to do some damage to these ghouls, and he does have Fan of Knives, and so much damage done to those ghouls already with just one single Fan of Knives. But now the Warden forced to run away, but you can see 615 mana here on the Warden as she comes back to do some more damage. WFZ trying to take down this Ancient of War here, but another Fan of Knives already going off. A couple of Troll Berserkers taking quite a bit of damage, so one Troll Berserker will be going down here. So level 3 now for the Death Knight as the ghouls and gargs come in here and try to do some damage to this Troll Berserker. There has been an Ancient Protector put up inside of the base of the Night Elf player, but another Fan of Knives there doing so much damage to the Undead. And now Lawliet chasing down the Undead player here with his Warden, but a nice Shadow Strike and Fan of Knives combination at the same time. The Lich going down there so quickly that Lich fell down to the Warden. Fan of Knives and Shadow Strike at the same time do so much damage, and there was just so much mana on this Warden. 645 mana now for this level 4 Warden. As you can see, even more Shadow Strikes and Fan of Knives going off. The Death Knight trying to get a block here on one of these ghouls, but it looks like the ghoul will be killed. The Death Knight getting the deny there, but the Warden continuing to chase down this other ghoul. She does have Boots of Speed, so this second ghoul will go down here, and the Death Knight won't be able to deny it. So 4.5 already for the Warden. This Ancient of War now eating through the trees, getting ready to creep out the gold mine. So Lawliet using the Ancient of War there to creep up just all over the map, getting 4.5 on the Warden already. Now the Warden coming in here, chasing after the Death Knight, but there is a Nerubian tower here, so the Warden forced to turn around. Can't really do too much of anything, and now a ton of wisps being added to the trees outside of this expansion here for Lawliet, so maybe he's looking to expand, or maybe just trying to make sure those wisps don't die to the gargoyle harass. Gargoyles are running around. There is a shade here scouting out these dryads, but you can see that the tanking is being done by this Ancient of War here on the other side of the gold mine, so no units are taking any damage right now, and Lawliet will get very close to level 5 on this Warden, if not get level 5, and 2 Ancient Protectors now going down here for the Night Elf player, and so close to level 5 on this Warden. The small green camp here has already been crept out. Looks like the Warden will go over here to this Goblin Laboratory, so level 5 will be picked up after all. An illusion to Death Knight here. It looks like Lawliet fell for it and will pick off this Death Knight, even though it will give no experience. But a third Ancient Protector now being added outside of this natural expansion here for the Night Elf player, so there will be an expansion for Lawliet. He does want to get a couple of Ancient Protectors up, though. These gargoyles for the Undead will be able to do so much damage to that expansion as it's constructing, so establishing those towers is very important for the Night Elf. But level 2 for the Lich now. Still only level 3 here for the Death Knight. And a Potion of Restoration was the nice item picked up from that red camp there for the Death Knight. So quite a nice item, especially if the Warden starts to focus down on the Death Knight.
A player's forces are
or
under
the
attack.
Lich. One of those heroes will be able to use that Potion of Restoration and get some more mana as well as HP. But Lawliet here continuing to creep, now creeping out another one of the shops, picking up level 5 on the Warden. So there is the level 5 already on the Warden here, as we're just over the 11-minute mark in this game. And now the Death Knight will make his way towards the Night Elf army, actually running into all these Dryads. So the Death Knight taking some unnecessary damage here. There's a Circlet there, actually killed by the Dryads before Lawliet runs away. But these Gargs now, there are quite a few Gargs here for WFZ, and he's picking off a couple of Dryads, and a Troll Berserker about to go down as well. So quite a large army here for the Undead player. A Fan of Knives finally going off on all of those Gargs, so taking quite a bit of damage. There is a heal scroll on this Death Knight, but now the Death Knight being focused. Shadow Strike going off, but another Fan of Knives as well from this Warden. No second hero has been added for Lawliet as of yet. It looks like he wanted to stick with a solo Warden just to get a fast level 5, but you can see that back at this expansion, the expansion is going up here, but only 35 food for the Night Elf. In the Undead base, you can see that he is tier 3, sitting at 43 food. No third hero for the Undead as of yet, but it looks like he may end up going ahead and creeping out another red camp here, and now deciding to turn around and stop by the shop. So I guess he's going to creep out this small orange camp instead of going for the red camp item. Lawliet, on the other hand,
are under attack.
getting an invisibility potion on the Warden, so it looks like the Warden will go to do some harassment on those Acolytes. So he may have retrained also to level 3 Fan of Knives. So these Acolytes are probably going to take quite a bit of damage from the Warden here. We should see a Fan of Knives and maybe even a Shadow Strike. So there is one Fan of Knives, and you can see 2 Acolytes dead already. So the Warden doing so much damage here already to these Acolytes. There is no Zeppelin for the Undead. But now the Gargoyles on the other side of the map, though, doing some damage to these Dryads. The Dryads were caught off guard by the Undead, and now level 3 on the Lich as one Dryad goes down. But you can see that Lawliet continuing to do damage here inside the Undead base. He was able to kill 3 of those Acolytes. Now, actually, 4 Acolytes went down. One did still survive, but now the Undead running into this Night Elf army with these 3 Ancient Protectors here. He did pick off that Troll Berserker, but he's losing a couple of Dryads here, or a couple of Gargoyles here to the Dryads, rather. Level 4 on the Death Knight, and as he moves into the main base trying to take down one of the Ancient Lores. But Lawliet did check out that expansion. There is no expansion for the Undead, so it is Lawliet with 2 bases right now. He doesn't have an Entangled Gold Mine, so this expansion isn't actually gaining him any extra gold just yet. And you can see quite a few Gargoyles here for the Undead player, but there are so many towers inside the Night Elf base, he's not able to do too much of anything. But back in the base of WFZ, though, despite WFZ being 1 base versus 1 base right now, he did lose all those Acolytes, and the second mine will be finished very soon. So it won't be too long before it is 2 bases up against 1, as that gold mine is saturated. But another Dryad being killed here, and you can see that only 36 food for the Night Elf player as he finishes his 5th Wisp in the gold mine. But once again, the Warden coming in here trying to do some damage, and a Blink going off, killing off 2 Acolytes already, so 2 more going down. It looks like a 3rd will go down here to the Warden if the Warden can catch up. And wow, a very nice move there for Lawliet. He used a Sapper to take down 2 of those Ziggurats after he killed all 5 Acolytes. So right now the Undead player supply blocked, and he has no Acolytes to build any Ziggurats anymore, so 40 food. So now the Undead forced to attack right now, the Warden TPing back. There are a lot of Gargoyles here, not too many Dryads. So WFZ is going to have to do a big push here, but there are a lot of Moonwells here for Lawliet. He likes to battle in his base with all these Moonwells, but right now he's playing Dota. He just has 1 hero up against this huge army of the Undead, but this is WFZ's really his big opportunity to try and even this battle out, because he just lost all of his Acolytes. He only has 1 Acolyte right now, and he can't buy any more. He only has 8 gold. So if he doesn't do something big right here, he's going to be in huge trouble because of that nice Sapper usage by Lawliet. And now the Gargoyles did take down all of those Dryads, but now quite a few Dryads are queued up. Lawliet has banked up quite a bit of gold there, since he does have 2 gold mines. And the Warden has so much mana, so he can keep spanning Fan of Knives on all these Gargoyles. But it's WFZ now trying to take down some of these Moonwells and supply block the Night Elf player. A couple of Wisp now being focused here, as 2 of them do detonate, though, removing all the mana from that Lich. So no Coil Nova for this Undead just yet. And WFZ taking quite a bit of damage on his Death Knight. Another Fan of Knives for the Warden going off there. And a Moonwell finally does fall, but Lawliet still has 33 out of 50 food. But you can see that WFZ just has 2 Acolytes right now. He just now finished his Ziggurat, so he's finally able to produce Acolytes, and now forced to TP out as he knew another Fan of Knives was coming, and all those Gargoyles were getting quite low HP. But you can see that still not fully saturated mine here for the Undead player. He just now has enough gold to build another Acolyte, but he is at 38 out of 40 food. He was supply blocked because that perfect usage of the Sapper taking out 2 Ziggurats while the Warden killed all 5 of those Acolytes. So a very nice move here, or earlier, for Lawliet, the Korean Night Elf player, taking down all those Acolytes. And now WFZ is at a huge advantage because he's barely mining any gold. You can see 4,000 gold in his mine, while 2,500 only left in the main gold mine of Lawliet. So that's 1,500 gold difference. And now the Warden once again coming down here, going to do some more harassment against those Acolytes, but it would probably be in the best interest here of WFZ to add a Zeppelin. So if he does see this Warden here use Fan of Knives, he can quickly put all of those Acolytes in a Zeppelin. But here's WFZ getting prepared to do another Fan of Knives, and he does take out 2 Acolytes once again, and now Coil Nova going off on the Warden. The Warden does have an HP potion as well as a Scroll of Town Portal, so he does TP with his Warden there. But you can see that a second hero has been added here for Lawliet. He picked up a Panda and he started power creeping it, so already level 2 here with the Panda as he finishes up this Goblin Laboratory. So instant level 2 on the Panda. But a level 5 Warden here using Fan of Knives, not doing too much damage, only hitting a couple of those Gargoyles. But level 5.5 already on the Warden, so the Warden actually getting pretty close to level 6. And the Panda now creeping up as fast as the Warden did in the beginning of the game. And so this Panda will pick up level 3. pretty soon. So a level 3 Panda and a level 3 Warden are going to be a lot of trouble for WFZ and these mass Gargs. You can see that the Undead is trying to creep up, though. He does have level 5 on his Death Knight and level 4 on his Lich. So quite a bit of experience here for the Undead player as well. But all of that economic damage that was dealt by Lawliet in the beginning, or in the middle of this game, is really going to start taking its toll now that the Night Elf has secured this expansion. You can see 800 gold already banked up here for Lawliet as he goes to 47 food. He did add a Druid of the Claw. He doesn't have Master Upgrade. It looks like Master Upgrade might have just now finished here for the Bears. Nope, they are still Adept. So Master Training not researched just yet for Lawliet. He does have a bit of a lumber problem here, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And now the Panda getting level 3 here. The Undead still trying to creep up here. Level 4 on the Lich. WFZ trying to get level 5 on this Lich. Maybe a Coil Nova combination on these heroes, at least the Warden, will be able to give WFZ an advantage enough to come back in this game, but he seems to be at a huge disadvantage already, as Lawliet once again putting his Warden with an invisibility potion, marching towards the Undead base, getting ready to kill some of these Acolytes. But the base has actually been blocked off, it looks like now, by the Undead player. So the Warden not able to actually get back there without using a blink, which would reveal the Warden, and then those Acolytes might be able to escape. And now we do have the Gargoyles making their way back towards the Night Elf base, so 50 food here for Lawliet, but he has banked up 1,400 gold.
The player's forces are under attack.
And actually, WFZ not even fully mining right now. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind not mining. I don't know why he's doing this, but he only has 1 Acolyte mining gold right now. He is only at 43 food. If he was at 50 food, I thought he might be able to do that just to save gold in his gold mine. But he's sitting with just 1 Acolyte mining right now, and there is an Acolyte moving in his base, so WFZ is aware that he's not fully mining, but I'm not sure what the reasoning is on sitting at 43 food. But you can see that Lawliet just went over 50 food, and he's making his way into the Undead base, and a couple of Sappers being added once again, so it looks like the main could be the focus here for Lawliet. The Sapper's not able to get into the base just yet. Here they go. So 1 Sapper will go off here, it looks like, and it's trying to be focused by this Black Citadel, but this Sapper will hit both of these Ziggurats. So it looks like it just got 1 Ziggurat. So 1 Ziggurat being hit there, and now the Black Citadel going down as well. WFZ did add an expansion here with one of those Acolytes that was just kind of standing around. There are 3 other Acolytes, so there are the rest of the Acolytes who are kind of hiding in the bottom left side of the base there. Maybe WFZ was trying to prevent them from being killed by the Warden. But as a result, they ended up dying anyway, as you can see, and now a heal scroll being used here. A lot of AoE damage here by Lawliet, but he's forced to TP out as all these Dryads go down, so WFZ actually doing quite a bit of damage to the Night Elf army, but 1,400 gold now for Lawliet, and it seems like he's just content to sit around with 2 heroes. And maybe the point of pulling off his Acolytes there, since he was so close to 50 food, was so that he does have some gold left in the gold mine, and hoping that he could maybe pick off a few units and extend his gold for just a little bit longer by not mining out with a fully saturated mine. But Lawliet still has this expansion here, and you can see he's adding another expansion, and this Tree of Eternity will be able to uproot pretty soon. And another Phantom Knives going off on all of these Gargoyles here, and now WFZ looks like he's losing a couple of units at a time, and now Focus going down on the Lich, and Drunken Haze being removed, Stone Form on those Gargoyles, but they actually trapped the Death Knight there, and now a Healing Scroll being used right before a Phantom Knives going off, so WFZ still has quite a large army here compared to Lawliet, but Lawliet still has 700 gold and a nice Breath and Haze combination there, and the Warden with another Phantom Knives. So much mana on this Warden, still 150 mana left after 3 or 4 Phantom Knives already, and now the Panda using a Potion of Vulnerability, another Breath of Fire going off, another Phantom Knives going off, and so much damage going on these Gargs. These Gargs are all starting to fall here to the AoE damage of the Night Elf player, and now it is just the Panda and a Bear up against a Lich and a Death Knight here, so WFZ trying to stay in this battle, trying to kill this Panda here, and it looks like he may be able to do so. There's mana on the Lich, and now the Panda taking quite a bit of damage. Coil going off on this Lich, and the Panda actually making it away with 36 HP. The Gargoyle is coming back in here now, killing this Panda. So even though Lawliet has quite a bit of gold, he has no army right now. He's just playing Dodo. He has this Warden that is level 5, a Bear about to go down here. But he's killed the entire Undead army though, so WFZ kind of in trouble here, as even though Lawliet doesn't have much of an army either, he has a lot of gold. He has one mine that is saturated already with wisps and another that is about to be finished. So WFZ did take down the small army of Lawliet, but Lawliet has been basically producing a lot of Moonwells here and just playing with 2 heroes. These gargoyles going into stone form here, regenerating some HP. So WFZ still has some units left, but he doesn't have any much gold right now. He only has 1 acolyte. He still doesn't have that necropolis built back yet, so he can't even saturate his own gold mine. So sitting with just 182 gold here as the warden makes her way down towards the undead base, and a blink going off, and now the warden catching the lich off guard here, and the death knight is on... Where is the death knight? Oh, there's the death knight inside the base of the undead. A coil going off, saving that lich, but the warden is here now focusing on this death knight, and not much gold here for WFZ. He can buy 1 potion, but a hide there on the warden, and GG is called. So the first game does go to Lawliet in this best of 5. So Lawliet, the Korean Night Elf player, winning game number 1 in a pretty decisive win. He had a huge advantage after he killed that gold mine and all of those acolytes. I mean, after he killed those ziggurats and all of those acolytes. But we will move on to game number 2 of this best of 5 very shortly. We'll get that loaded up, and as I said before, we are going to do all of the videos at once in this series instead of splitting them up. And the second game between these players will be on Turtle Rock. So I guess WFZ deciding that Turtle Rock is the map for him, and so we will jump right into game number 2 here. And so here is game number 2. This is WEL WFZ, the Chinese Undead player, up against Lawliet, the Korean Night Elf player. We do have Turtle Rock and Lawliet spawning at the bottom here of Turtle Rock in the 6 o'clock position, well, I guess 5 o'clock position, and his opponent in the 11 o'clock position. Lawliet did win game number 1 in a pretty decisive battle. He ended up getting a power-crept warden on Nomad Isles, as he typically does, and then just kind of decimating the entire undead army with that warden. He was able to kill a ton of acolytes and do so much damage with that warden. He picked up a panda second and was able to use Breath of Fire and Fan of Knives to kind of pick apart the gargoyle army of WFZ. But this is Turtle Rock, so creeping won't be as easy here for the Night Elf player. He might not even go for a warden this game. I don't know. But I guess we will see now as this Moonwell and Altar finishes. And it is a Demon Hunter this time for Lawliet, so Lawliet not going for the warden here on Turtle Rock, and a Death Knight coming out for WFZ. And once again, WFZ doing a ghoul build. WFZ being such a strong undead player, it was surprising actually to see Lawliet kind of decimate him in the first game. But Lawliet is no pushover either. He's one of the best Night Elf players in the game, possibly the best Korean player in the game right now. Lawliet and Lucifer being 2 of the best players from Korea that are currently active. Moon just left for the army. I do believe that Lin might also be in the army as well. So Lawliet taking up the banner of one of the best Korean players. The best Korean Night Elf player that is currently active for sure is Lawliet. And he has beaten Lucifer quite a few times, so I do believe that Lawliet is the best player in Korea that is active right now. And he has started his creeping here on Turtle Rock as he uproots his Ancient of War. Starts to creep with this Archer, the Demon Hunter, also making his way over here. And the Death Knight actually not deciding to do any harassment this time. It looks like he's stopping at his green camp here. So there will be some creeping here for WFZ this time instead of any harassment. You can see that he didn't go for Aura first. A lot of times you see Aura first harassment from the undead player up against the Demon Hunter, trying to get surrounds on archers and surrounds on the Demon Hunter and things like that. But for right now, WFZ deciding to do some creeping instead. And actually he didn't coil that ghoul, so maybe he still has Aura first, or maybe he hasn't skilled up his Death Knight just yet. But the Ancient of War now being put back down for Lawliet as he creeps out his small green turtle camp. And actually it looks like maybe WFZ didn't scout properly here as he is running towards the wrong base. now actually running through these sea turtles. So maybe it looks like he's just trying to creep up the second green camp. If you creep 2 of these green camps, you pick up level 2. So he will get level 2 here on his Death Knight. Maybe he's just trying to pick up some items. He picks up 2 Mantles of Intelligence. So not great items, but not the worst items either. But you can see it increases his mana regeneration for every point. So he did pick up quite a bit of extra mana there on his Death Knight, so he can pull off an extra coil. And now level 2 here for the Death Knight, so he does skill Unholy Aura as well as Death Coil on this Death Knight now, and quite a few ghouls being added here for WFC as well. And it looks like he's about to scout out the Demon Hunter here, so there is the Demon Hunter. And the Demon Hunter's item was Cloak of Shadows, which isn't a great item, since the Undead not carrying around a Dust of Appearance. Typically you see the Undead always getting a Dust of Appearance up against Night Elf in the early game, but no Dust of Appearance here for the Death Knight just yet. So even if he gets a surround on this Demon Hunter here, who is going to do some harassment, he won't be able to kill that Demon Hunter since he'll just be able to hide. But it looks like WFC just running around trying to do a little bit of creeping here and there, and he actually has gotten more experience than the Demon Hunter right now. So level 2 for both heroes. Back in the bases though, you can see that Lawliet has decided to tech, as well as WFC. Both are right around the same tech. A graveyard being added here for WFC. No second crypt being added just yet, so he may not go ghouls this game. He may transition into fiends. But for the moment, he does have ghouls. And Lawliet continuing to do some creeping, pulling out this turtle camp here. He has to pull it far away in case he gets creep jacked, and now deciding not to continue creeping. There's a skeleton warrior here that did scout out the Night Elf, and now it looks like Lawliet instead will go for a small orange camp, but WFC actually going for this turtle creep camp, and a detonate going off, picking off a couple of those skeletons, but 2 of those turtles do go down, and an archer actually falling there. So the first kill between these 2 players does go to WFC. He picks off that archer there. And the Demon Hunter continuing to do some creeping. Level 2 and 3/4 here for the Demon Hunter. Almost level 3 though for the Death Knight. And now WFC running towards the tavern. He is about to finish tier 2, but I'm not sure what tavern hero he's going to be getting. And the Death Knight, or the Demon Hunter, actually needs to be careful here, almost getting surrounded. And now WFC, maybe he was waiting at the tavern to try to surround this panda. I guess that's what he was doing. I guess he was sitting at the bottom left side, maybe trying to get the panda, and actually picking up a Dark Ranger second. So he did go for a tavern hero, but it looks like he isn't too happy about the Dark Ranger pick. He did say something after he picked it up, so I guess maybe he misclicked. He might have been going for a Naga. Sometimes you do see Naga second in Undead versus Night Elf, so maybe he was going for a Naga and he misclicked on a Dark Ranger, but there is now a Dark Ranger out on the field here for WFC. Not the worst possible choice, but not the best choice either, in my opinion. So he might have misclicked there, trying to pick up a Naga for a tier 2 push. You can see that he has actually decided to go up to tier 3 now, not adding a second crypt. He is adding a slaughterhouse, but he is transitioning into fiends now. So he started out with ghouls, but now he's going into some fiends. And the Demon Hunter actually taking quite a bit of damage to this gigantic sea turtle. And now the Undead coming in here for a creep jack, so the Demon Hunter needs to be careful. 1 archer actually going down. There is no mana on the Death Knight though, so if the Death Knight had a little bit of mana there, he would have been able to maybe kill that Demon Hunter, but he does pick off 2 archer kills, and now a nice block here from WFC as the panda tries to get away. There is no staff on the Demon Hunter, so this panda could go down here. A beautiful block here from WFC. This is such a long block. This panda taking so much damage. It looks like the panda will end up falling here, and there goes the panda down now. So a very nice move there for WFC. He blocked that panda from basically all the way here down to where it died. So a very beautiful move by WFC, able to pick off that panda and a couple of archers, picking up level 3 on his Death Knight. So WFC showing why he's such a good player and why he deserves to be in this best of 5 show match for the WEL All-Stars. And the Dark Ranger now getting pretty close to level 2. He did put 3 Mantles of Intelligence on that Dark Ranger, so quite a bit of mana on the Dark Ranger to produce a lot of skeletons. He may end up going for using this Dark Ranger for silence more so than skeletons later on, as Dryads will be coming out anytime soon here for Lawliet, as you can see. But silence, I guess, might be nice up against the panda every once in a while.
Forces are under attack.
But now, creeping being done here by the Night Elf player, the Demon Hunter, very close to level 3, and a coil going off on this DH here right before the mana burn. So there was a nice coil there from WFC. At least he could get some sort of damage off before that mana burn took all of the mana of the Death Knight. And now the Demon Hunter so close to level 3, just one experience away, so a bit unfortunate there for Lawliet not picking up level 3. I'm sure he expected to get level 3 there, but he's one experience off. And now the Undead sitting outside of this shop. Looks like he wanted to creep it, but he did see the Night Elf there, so both players just kind of dancing back and forth here, fighting over that shop, and now Lawliet running away, hoping that the Undead would start to creep. And both players now just running back and forth. They used to call this the Gosu dance. So both players in the Gosu dance here, running back and forth, not wanting to be the first one to engage, hoping that the other person would attack the creep so that they could get a creep jack here. And it is the Dryads now that are picking off one of these ghouls here, but the Death Knight does have enough mana for a coil here, and there is a nice coil saved at the last second on this ghoul, but it looks like the ghoul could end up falling anyway. But the Demon Hunter needs to be careful now. He's taking quite a bit of damage, and that ghoul does fall, so level 3 now on the Demon Hunter, but a nice Nova there from the Lich, who has picked up third, and a staff from the Panda, so the Demon Hunter does stay alive. But another Archer now in trouble here. The Lich is here for the Undead, and now it looks like WFC is content to try to creep this out. The Lawliet is there waiting, trying to do some more damage as the creeps help him out and damage this Undead. But now the Undead has quite a large army here. The Demon Hunter has made his way back, so both players now trying to do some creeping here. Lawliet trying to finish off this creep, and it does look like the Panda's going to go down here. The Panda taking so much damage, but there is that nice silence from the Dark Ranger. The Panda wasn't able to do much of anything, and the Panda ended up dying, and now it is WFC who will be able to finish up this camp. But Lawliet waited and waited and waited for the Undead to take that creep camp and start creeping, but his creep jack was very ineffective, and he ended up losing his Panda because of it. So Lawliet making a bit of a mistake there, losing his Panda unnecessarily, and now just sitting at 42 food as the Undead marches in here with 3 heroes, quite a few ghouls, a couple of fiends and statues as well. There is 2 bears here, but they are not master training. Master training about to finish, but quite a bit of damage being done already by these ghouls. The silence going off on that bear, so that bear won't be able to turn into bear form, and so one bear now finally turning into bear form here. Dispel going off on that silence, but a destroyer being morphed here as well. And WFC now trying to focus down on these bears, both bears at very low HP. One bear about to fall here. A second bear will probably be shortly after as a drag is focused, and now another bear will be going down. So WFC starting to pick apart Lawliet here, and the Demon Hunter not being able to do too much damage. 3 fiends and a destroyer here now, and WFC is just doing so much damage to Lawliet here. It's daytime, so not much mana left in these Moonwells, and just a huge Undead army sitting outside of Lawliet's base. So a very nice timing push here from WFC as the Demon Hunter takes quite a bit of damage, and a coil going off here and finishing off the Demon Hunter. The Panda about to go down as well, so both heroes being lost by Lawliet, and Lawliet calling GG, and WFC tying it up 1-1 here. So nice play there by the Undead, a very nice push, and WFC tying the score up 1-1. We will move into game number 3 shortly. This is a best of 5, so regardless of who wins the next game, there will be a 4th game. And game number 3 is actually on a Chinese map that not a lot of people see outside of China. It's called Great Wall, and it's kind of a weird map, but it's pretty popular in China. It is on the Chinese ladder YY. So we will move into game number 3 here. It is tied up 1-1. Game number 3 of WEL All-Stars. And here we are on Great Wall. We do have WFC spawning on the bottom left side and Lawliet spawning on the top right side. If you aren't familiar with this map, you can see that it's like an ode to the Great Wall of China. If you look here, there is a huge wall. There's a ramp to get up on top of this wall, and the wall just kind of runs across the map here. So kind of a weird map. There are warp gates on the map on both sides of the wall, so you can warp from one side to the other. But kind of an interesting map, but an Ancient War being added outside of this small orange camp here, and Lawliet will continue to do some Ancient of War creeping. WFC, on the other hand, continuing to do a ghoul build, so no Fiend build or Ted Fiend builds as of yet from WFC. Looks like he will continue to do ghouls, adding a Tomb of Relics, so with the Tomb of Relics he might end up selling his town portal and picking up some items and doing some harassment. But in the last game we did see him do some creeping with his Death Knight, which actually worked out pretty well for him instead of trying to harass the Demon Hunter. But it is a Warden this time once again for Lawliet. He did go for a Warden in game number 1 on Nomad Isles, but that is kind of Lawliet's map. You don't often see Lawliet lose on Nomad Isles with his power creeping strategy. So very nice play in that game. Game number 2 he went Demon Hunter on Turtle Rock and ended up losing, but here in game number 3 switching back to a Warden, so trying to take back the lead here as they are tied 1-1 in this best of 5. The Death Knight will be coming out soon, but quite a few ghouls being added now for the Undead player, and some scouting here for Lawliet will be happening soon, but you can see that there are ramps all over this map. There's a couple of ramps there, some ramps here to get up onto this wall. You can see obviously why it's called Great Wall, but it's an okay map. It's an interesting map. It visually is different than a lot of the maps that you see, especially on W3 Arena and things. This isn't there, so kind of a nice map, kind of an interesting map. And Lawliet continuing to do some creeping here. There has been a Ghoul Scout here for WFC trying to damage a couple of these Wisps, and the Death Knight actually picking up Unholy Aura even though he's up against a Warden, so not all the time do you see that. You can see Death Coil up against a Warden quite a bit, but WFC going for a harassment here with Unholy Aura on his Death Knight, trying to do some damage to these Wisps here. And now the Warden chasing down this Death Knight, but the Death Knight will be too quick, and the Death Knight does escape as the Warden loses line of sight there around the trees. So WFC doing a good job avoiding that Warden, avoiding any shadow strikes, but a third Moonwell now being added from Lawliet, so maybe he's prepared for some sort of ghoul push. If we look back in the Undead base, though, he did decide to tech, so he's not going for an all-in ghoul push here. No second crypt. He did sell his town portal, though, and pick up a Rod of Necromancy as well as Dust of Appearance, but now Lawliet waiting for the Undead. He does meet the Undead there, but he's going to end up losing an Archer there, so a nice job from WFZ. He kind of ran around the ramps there and picked off one Archer as Lawliet was going up the ramp. WFC was going down the ramp, and now quite a few ghouls being added here. And Lawliet, though, tried to get prepared here with all of these Moonwells. One Archer taking quite a bit of damage here.
Player's forces are under
WFC
attack.
trying to get us around, but the Tree of Ages tech to tier 2 here for Lawliet has started, but there are quite a few Wisps out here that are going to take some damage. So Lawliet forced to detonate one Wisp, a second Wisp now detonating, a third taking quite a bit of damage as the Warden makes her way up here to try to defend this ghoul push here. But a lot of these Wisps are in trouble there, and it looks like WFC just wants to chase down these Wisps here, and now a Shadow Strike going off on one of these ghouls. There are quite a few ghouls here, and Lawliet needs to be careful. He does have level 2 on his Warden. Dust of Appearance is on the Undead, but a fourth Moonwell now being added here, so Lawliet banking on Moonwells to save him in this push. He only has 3 Archers. WFC trying to chase these Archers down here, doing some damage to these Archers, but Lawliet so far doing a good job of keeping them alive. But they're taking quite a bit of damage, though. They haven't been able to do any damage output, and now 2 of these Archers getting quite low. One Ghoul is about to go down, so Lawliet picking off one Ghoul there, but losing an Archer at the same time, and he's reproducing that Archer, and now WFC focusing down on this fourth Moonwell here. Lawliet needs to keep that Moonwell alive. That's kind of the strategy he's going for here, is to get mass Moonwells so that he doesn't have to spend a lot of gold on unit production. He can just keep his units alive with Moonwells. But WFC using his Death Knight here to chase down some of these Archers. These Archers are quite low, and he does have Dust of Appearance, so probably one of these Archers will go down here. Actually, WFC not attacking with his Death Knight there, I guess just trying to get ahead of these Archers. But you can see that this map has some pretty cool effects here on the top of the Great Wall. Some dust breezing away there at the top of the map. And all these Wisps are on top of the Great Wall there. And now the Archers hiding outside of the Fountain of Health, and they do hide. And now the Creep's doing so much damage to WFC. So WFC about to lose a Ghoul here because of the Creep. So a nice move there from Lawliet running to the Fountain. As you can see, there is a fountain on this map, and using his archers to attack the creep and then hide them. And there was a stomp on WFC's unit, so he did end up losing a ghoul there. But now he's chasing down this warden, trying to do some damage to the warden. The warden looks like he will escape, and now WFC killing a sheep there out of frustration, getting ready to summon some skeletons from that sheep corpse. How 2 skeletons can be summoned from the corpse of a sheep, I'm not sure, but it seems to work out. And there's a hidden archer here, but WFC looks like he didn't see it, and actually maybe the pathing of the Death Knight tipped off WFC. So WFC, with nice awareness there, he was watching his units run towards the fountain, and I guess he saw that the ghoul and the Death Knight were kind of tripped up in the middle of the pathway for no reason, so he kind of realized that there must be a hidden archer in the way. So nice awareness there from the Chinese Undead player as he picks off another archer, and now running back up towards the Great Wall here. There are a couple of barrel of explosives there. And now the warden finally having some more time to do some creeping, using this Ancient of War to creep out this mercenary camp, and Lawliet adds a troll berserker here to his army. And WFC once again going to do some harassment of the Night Elf player. You can see Tier 2 has been reached, and an Ancient of Lore being added. Tier 2 also reached for Lawliet. He did pick up a second hero and has teched up to Tier 3, so the Lich making his way, or her way, or whatever way for the Lich. I'm not sure if the Lich is a guy or a girl, but making its way over toward the rest of the Undead army. And now Lawliet focusing down on this Death Knight. The Warden is here though, so the Lich is here, so the Warden needs to be careful. A nice Frost Nova on that Warden. But Lawliet does finish up this creep camp here, so already level 3 on this Warden. Only level 1 for the Death Knight and level 1 for the Lich. So this may be the time for the Undead player to go and do some power creeping of his own. He doesn't want to be too far behind in the experience level up against a Warden. As he saw in the first game, a high-level Warden can do so much damage to the Undead. And now another Ancient of War doing some creeping here, so you can see that Lawliet likes to build Ancient of Wars all over the map. But the rest of his army wasn't here when the Ancient of War was there, so the Ancient of War actually taking quite a bit of damage, so this Ancient of War will go down. Lawliet will probably still be able to finish up this creep camp, but he kind of started it a bit too soon there. And he could have gotten away without losing as much HP on these units, but he will be fine. And now level 2 will be picked up on the Death Knight here as WFC finishes up this creep camp. The Warden trying to run around and find where the Undead is creeping, but the creep camp will be finished up for the Death Knight here. He will get Death Coil finally on this Death Knight, as WFC is aware that this Warden in his face, a Shadow Strike going off on one Acolyte, but there is Death Coil here for the Death Knight, so a very nice timing for the Death Knight to pick up level 2, as he does save that Acolyte in the Night Elf base. Can see 40 food here. He's just kind of chilling out with his mercenary army.
Forces are under attack.
But 44 food already for the Undead, and he's researching Ghoul Frenzy, so there may be a push here pretty soon from the Undead player. He may want to try to get level 2 on his Lich, and maybe even level 3 on his Death Knight before he does a push, but he is getting Ghoul Frenzy, and he is getting very close to 50 food. He's researching the Destroyer upgrade. Lawliet, though, with a very delayed tech to Tier 3, so he's not going to have any Tier 3 units. He won't have any bears anytime soon. He put a lot of resources into these mercenaries, and as a result, he is delayed in his Tier 3 tech. So right now, he doesn't really have that much of an army. He does have a couple of units there, or a couple of mercenaries, but WFC going with the standard Undead build, and one thing that makes WFC so successful is his timing pushes. So if he does decide to hit soon, before any bears are produced for Lawliet, and before he gets Tier 3, and before he's able to research the bear upgrade, WFC could be in a good position. He did lose a ghoul there to the Warden as the Warden went over there to harass, but there are 4 Dryads now for Lawliet, and a couple of archers as well as some mercenaries. So his army isn't too small, but he's not Tier 3 yet. He's finally researching the Abolish upgrade on the Dryad. But now it is WFC making his way towards the Night Elf base, and this is what I'm talking about, a very nice timing push here for the Undead. He's catching one of these Moonwells as it constructs, and it is daytime. There was a Moonstone used, but it is still daytime, and there is no juice left in these Moonwells. and a Coil Nova going off on the Warden already, so the Warden taking quite a bit of damage. One of these Moonwells will finish pretty soon, but one Mercenary, the Mud Golem, going down, and now the Warden taking so much damage here, the Warden going down, so Lawliet making a mistake there, losing the Warden, but a very nice job there from WFZ, able to pick off that Warden with a nice daytime timing push, and level 3 now on the Death Knight. And it looks like the Ogre Mauler's about to go down as well, a Frost Nova going off. So WFZ with a huge timing push here on Great Wall, and now he's going to start to take down the shop here. There was a bear produced, but he's sitting back in the back of the map. Tier 3 not yet finished, about to be finished here for Lawliet. But WFZ killing that Warden, forcing Lawliet to rebuy that hero from the tavern. And now Lawliet coming in here trying to force the Undead out of his base, but the Warden still low on HP, and another Coil Nova going off on the Warden. The Warden forced to TP at the last second right before dying. But there is no mana left in those Moonwells, so there's not too much that Lawliet can do here as another Moonwell is taken down. So WFZ with an excellently timed push here up against Lawliet. There's Rejuvenation going off on that Warden, but the first Destroyer being morphed now as WFZ tries to pick up a Wisp. The Wisp does detonate there. And here comes the Warden once again. There is still mana left on this Death Knight, as well as the Lich, so Coil Nova could happen once again on that Warden. And now the game just being left. So no GG there from Lawliet. Lawliet just leaving the game on Great Wall, I guess frustrated with how the game went. And WFZ picking up the win, taking the lead. So after being down, WFZ does take the lead there and is up 2-1 against Lawliet, but as I have said, this is a best of 5 between Lawliet and WFZ, so there is at least one game left. If WFZ wins, it will be finished. If Lawliet ends up winning, this will go into a 5th game. We will get the 4th game, though, loaded up, and WFZ just doing a really nice job there in that game with a perfectly timed push on the Night Elf base. And it was a bit unfortunate, though. I've never seen Lawliet kind of rage quit like that. That was the first time I've ever seen Lawliet leave a game without saying GG, but I guess he was just a bit frustrated. But the 4th game will be played on Last Refuge, so we will go ahead and get started with game number 4 right about now. So here is game number 4 on Last Refuge. Lawliet versus WFZ for the WEL All-Stars. This is the league that is put on by Yumiko, the Chinese human player, and it is King of the Hill style for this league. And WFZ being the challenger here, the current champion, the current King of the Hill is Lawliet. Lawliet beat ZDR, the Chinese orc player, in the first WEL match. So Lawliet trying to defend his title. He is down 1-2 in this best of 5 right now, but he is a very strong Night Elf player. WFZ, on the other hand, trying to bring the title back to China for the moment and wants to pick up this final win here. If he can win this game, this will seal his victory in this best of 5, so he will end up being the champion if he wins this game. And it is another Ancient of War being added for some creeping for Lawliet. So Lawliet going for some power creeping. Once again, we may see another Warden, I'm not sure. But he did play Demon Hunter game 2, but here is another Warden. So Lawliet obviously liking the Warden for this matchup. We did see a Warden in game number 1 on Nomad Isles, where Lawliet won pretty decisively. It was kind of one-sided after Lawliet had an epic destruction of the Ziggurats in the Undead base. And then changing it up, going Demon Hunter in game number 2, lost that game on Turtle Rock. And then game number 3, going for a Warden once again, and ended up losing on Great Wall to a nice timing push by the Undead, and then leaving without a GG. But this Ancient of War is finished here. It has produced 1 archer, so Lawliet will start creeping. There is a goal here, trying to do some damage. One of those wisps taking some damage there, but we can see the Death Knight about to be finished here for WFZ. He did go for, once again, a ghoul build, not doing a Ted Fiend build or anything like that. Adding this second Ziggurat. He didn't sell his Town Portal this time. Last time we saw him sell his Town Portal, And a nice wisp block there from Lawliet.
A player's
but
forces
the
are under
Undead decided to go for Death Coil this time, so Lawliet was maybe banking that the Undead would pick up Unholy Aura, and he was trying to use that wisp to block the Death Knight from getting here so that the Warden will be able to finish up this creep camp before the Death Knight got here. But the wisp ended up dying, and now Lawliet, I guess aware that that camp was going to be finished because of the block, has decided to turn around and not go for the harassment at all. So Lawliet actually, with a nice job using that wisp, he's able to finish up this creep camp here, picking up level 2 already on the Warden. And WFZ making a mid-game change here, deciding to go for some creeping instead of any harassment. So WFZ changing things on the fly. He is still tier 1, and we might see a tier 2 tech anytime, and there it is. So tier 2 tech for Lawliet. I mean, for WFZ. No tech just yet for Lawliet. He's not got enough lumber to tech up to tier 2. And once again, you can see he's doing this power creeping strategy against Undead like he likes to do with the Warden. He just builds Ancient of Wars everywhere, all over the map. And it is really the perfect style to play on Nomad Isles, as we saw in game number 1. But an Archer here taking quite a bit of damage, and a nice coil there. That was an epic coil from WFZ, actually picking up level 2 on that coil, but he put the skeleton up there on the ramp so that he could see that Archer, and a very long range coil from the Death Knight able to pick that Archer off as a wisp gets harassed here by a skeleton warrior. So the Warden not able to do too much damage as the Undead makes his way towards the Night Elf base, and Lawliet coming in on the other side trying to do some damage here to the Undead. And one ghoul taking some damage, but the Warden actually getting surrounded there. So a very nice surround by WFZ, but Blink saving the Warden there. The Warden does escape and hides, but there is dust of appearance on that Warden, and now it is WFZ who has decided to just go ahead and do some creeping here. He's already level 2 with this Death Knight. He's already killed one Archer, and he's not that far behind in the experience, and this will put him over the top. So he's kind of out creeping Lawliet, who is playing a power creeping strategy here, so beating Lawliet at his own game for the moment as he continues to creep with his Death Knight, and the Warden there trying to do some damage but not really doing anything. And Lawliet now needs to be careful with this Warden. He's been surrounded one time already, and now there's a wisp here that will detonate on 2 of these skeletons, so a nice detonate there, taking some mana from the Death Knight, picking up a couple of skeletons. But now it is Lawliet doing some creeping here at this mercenary camp, so this will give him level 3 if he can finish that camp up before he gets creep jacked. But it looks like WFZ is probably aware that that's what the Night Elf is doing, so he's running down here, and now there is an Archer stuck in an ensnare here, and a nice job there from WFZ with a good creep jack, picking off one of Lawliet's Archers. And now Lawliet trying to focus down on one of these ghouls, but the ghoul does escape. But WFZ with just perfect awareness as always, and the Ancient of War actually going down to the creeps there, since Lawliet wasn't able to keep his units there and finish off those creeps quick enough. So he did lose that Ancient of War, so he won't be able to finish up that camp, and now he's been denied his level 3 on the Warden. So Lawliet wanted to go for a power creeping strategy, but WFZ out creeping the Night Elf right now, and he did force that Ancient of War to go down, as well as pick off an Archer that got stuck in an ensnare. So WFZ already with a great early game. He decided to creep up to level 2. It seemed like it was the right decision. He might not have been able to do too much damage if he would have just straight harassed, since he got blocked in the beginning by that wisp. And now WFZ continuing to creep here, creeping out another small camp with his ghouls and his Death Knight, and an illusion being used here for the Death Knight, and he will pick up level 3 though from this camp. And now Lawliet chasing down this Death Knight here, and I guess aware that that is an illusion. But the camp is finished by the Death Knight before the Warden can get there, but the Warden does have boost of speed. It is level 2, so a Shadow Strike going off on the ghoul, but a Death Coil saving it, and the Death Knight just so close to level 3, just 8 experience away, and it looks like the Warden will be able to pick off this ghoul here. And actually now the Lich making it here just in time, and another long-range coil from WFZ. His Death Knight has the best long-range coils I've ever seen. He always gets them from super range. He should be an NBA star, because he is making these coils from way downtown. And the Naga being picked up second for Lawliet as he starts to creep with his Ancient of War, eating through the trees to get over here to this creep camp so he doesn't take any damage on his heroes or his archers. So nice use of his Ancient of War there. And now WFZ may be thinking that the Night Elf is creeping down here once again, So bringing down his Death Knight, but there is no creeping going on here.
A player's
So
forces
this time
are under
WFC
attack.
not catching the Night Elf off guard, but his Lich actually is getting caught himself, so the Warden sees the Lich there. The Lich was kind of running around scouting, and now there is mana on the Lich, on the Warden, so this Lich could be in trouble here. The Death Knight trying to make his way over toward this Lich, but being caught by the Naga, and now Frost Arrows slowing down the Death Knight, so he can't make it to the Lich in time. The Lich does go down, and now the Death Knight needs to be careful. The Warden coming in on the other side of these trees. WFC probably aware that that's what the Warden is doing, and now WFC running the other way with his Death Knight. He does have Unholy Aura, so it looks like this Death Knight will get away, as the Night Elf is kind of wasting some time chasing down this Death Knight. Lawliet will never be able to catch this Death Knight. Now the Warden running the other way, maybe trying to catch it at the top once again. But WFC now scouting out in the base of the Night Elf player here. So checking things out, and if we look ourselves, we can see that some Dryads being produced. Tier 3 tech still researching for Lawliet, and Tier 3 already finished for the Undead. The Lich is finished and has been revived at least for WFC. But now the Death Knight taking some more damage from this Warden. The Warden is level 3. So the Death Knight actually taking quite a bit of damage from these Shadow Strikes, but no more mana on the Warden, so he can't get another Shadow Strike off on this Death Knight. So it looks like the Death Knight will be safe as he meets up with the rest of his army. But there is the Shadow Strike once again, but he's next to those statues, so he should be okay. As the Warden forced to retreat now, and the Naga continuing to do some creeping here. So Lawliet trying to creep up his heroes, but level 3 will be picked up now on the Death Knight. The Lich adding a little experience as well. Some Ghouls and Fiends now for WFC. So he's sticking with the strategy that he used on Turtle Rock, transitioning from Ghouls going into a couple of Fiends, as well as some statues, so he can get some Destroyers later. An Ankh of Reincarnation being the item for Lawliet, so a pretty nice item here, as his heroes will most likely be focused. That's kind of his downfall, or that was his downfall on Great Wall, is that his Warden was focused and went down too many times. So that Ankh of Reincarnation could be a nice item for Lawliet should WFC decide to focus down on heroes once again, but a Potion of Invulnerability being the item for WFC at this camp. So he will be able to keep his heroes alive just a bit longer should the Warden decide to be doing some focusing on the undead heroes. But a Zeppelin being purchased here from Lawliet. He likes to use Zeppelins and do a lot of Zeppelin micro. And he's one of the best at doing the Zeppelin trick of sticking all your units in a Zeppelin and using the staff on it at the same time that you put your hero in the Zeppelin, so you get a free town portal. So Lawliet likes to do that. He likes to get the Warden, but this Fiend does see this Zeppelin here, but Lawliet dropping his units here on this Fiend, so he will be able to pick off one unit, but the Undead actually making his way towards the Night Elf base here. So once again, WFC going for a big timing push here before Tier 3 bears have been reached for Lawliet. So Lawliet needs to be careful here as he doesn't have any bears. They are still adept, but now Lawliet coming in here, trying to defend his base, but a Moonwell already going down. Lawliet has the Zeppelin. He put his hero in the Zeppelin. I guess he's trying to pick that Warden back up as soon as Coil Nova goes off, but a Coil being used on the Fiend instead. Now an Archer taking some damage, but Lawliet saving that Archer in the Zeppelin, dropping it back down on the other side, and now both Archers being picked up. So Lawliet with excellent micro here as he focuses down on the Lich. The Lich does have that Potion of Vulnerability though, and another Archer taking some damage, but the Naga being picked up here, Coil going off on the Lich, and you can see that Lawliet's micro has been excellent with this Zeppelin here, and he does staff that Zeppelin back home with all of his units in it, but he is taking some damage on this Moonwell, so another Moonwell does go down, but you can see that WFC's timing was so perfect. It is daytime, there is no more Moonwell juice left, but now a couple of bears making their way, so Master Training finally finished on these bears, but Lawliet with nice micro able to keep quite a few of his units alive because of that Zeppelin, but he does finally lose the Dryad there, and now picking up the Warden in the Zeppelin and picking up a bear, but Web has finally been researched there by the Fiends, so Lawliet could be in quite a bit of trouble here as he's starting to lose some units now. He won't be able to use that Zeppelin to save his units, so a lot of Archers going down, some Ghouls now finally being focused, but it looks like Lawliet hasn't been able to pick off too much of the Undead. Another Dryad going down here, and now it is Lawliet trying to focus down on this Ghoul, but these Ghouls keep getting saved by the Death Knight, and now the Lich actually taking quite a bit of damage. He does have that Potion of Vulnerability though, so the Lich will survive, and now a Blink going off on the Warden, and the Naga once again trying to focus that Lich, but the Lich gets coiled, and it is safe. So now the Bears taking quite a bit of damage here, but the Zeppelin finally back. There are no more fiends to web this down, but there is a fiend there unburrowing. So WFZ with great micro saving these fiends. He does unburrow that fiend and web that Zeppelin. The Zeppelin does have a couple of bears in it, so it looks like this Zeppelin will go down here. So the Zeppelin goes down, and now these bears are at risk, so both bears now being focused, and another nice burrow by WFZ. So despite Lawliet's excellent micro here, you can see that WFZ is just dominating in this battle, keeping these ghouls alive. Lawliet has spent so much time and mana trying to kill that Lich, but the Lich just kept getting healed by the Death Knight, and he had that potion of vulnerability on the Lich. So WFZ just kind of dominating in this battle. Lawliet, though, is trying to stay alive, building a couple of moonwells in the back of his base. It is nighttime now, but it was really the timing of WFZ that allowed him to do so much damage in this push, since Lawliet couldn't instantly get HP and mana back on these heroes. Since it was daytime, he had no mana in those moonwells, and now a bear being focused here after putting Rejuve on this Warden. And now, once again, the Lich being focused, but another potion of vulnerability on the Lich, though. And now the Naga being focused, so the Naga taking quite a bit of damage, using a health potion at the very last second, so the Naga does stay alive, but a bear going down. And now the Lich is kind of low on HP, but the Warden being focused here by WFZ. He does have enough mana on the Death Knight, though, to once again heal this Lich. So there is another Death Coil on the Lich. So Lawliet keeps trying to kill that Lich, but two large potions in vulnerability, as well as so much mana on the Death Knight, has been keeping that Lich alive. WFZ kind of running out of the Night Elf base for the moment, but now focusing down on this Ancient of Lore. Lawliet only at 26 food right now as he picks off another ghoul. If Lawliet would have focused down on those ghouls a bit earlier, or maybe focused on the fiends instead of trying to kill that Lich, he might have been doing better in this battle. But as of right now, WFZ just kind of dominating in this battle here on Last Refuge. The fourth game between these two players in this best of 5. And the Naga trying to pick off another ghoul there. And now the Naga taking some more damage. This Ancient of Lore taking some damage as well. A bear coming out of that Ancient of Lore, morphing into bear form very quickly. But he did take quite a bit of damage. And now the Ancient of Lore looks like it will finally go down here, as there's not much for WFZ, or for Lawliet rather, to defend this push of WFZ. And now a lot of fiends here for the Undead player. He's been able to just slowly add fiends to his army. He did lose all of his ghouls, it looks like, but he does have quite a few fiends, and he finally picks up another bear. So now it's just a couple of heroes here for the Night Elf player, and the Lich actually dying there. You can see that WFZ tried to drop his Scroll of Town Portal to the Lich, but the Lich died at the last second. So WFZ picking off the Lich, but he's just got 2 heroes right now. Now the Naga taking quite a bit of damage, but a nice TP used by Lawliet there. So Lawliet actually forcing WFZ to TP here, as he does have a bear and a couple of heroes that was just defending in his base. But as you can see, despite Lawliet finally picking off the Lich, despite Lawliet forcing a TP there, you can see that he is just at 21 food here, up against a 50 food army of the Undead.
Under attack.
And now the Lich making his or her way to the shop, buying a potion of invulnerability. And Lawliet trying to do some more creeping. He does have 1 bear trying to creep up this Warden, but once again you can see that it is daytime, so there's no more mana left in these Moonwells, so this next push could be huge for the Undead player. And WFZ could end up sealing the victory right here, and these Ancient of Lores will be forced to be cancelled, and Lawliet won't be able to build any more units. So WFZ just playing excellently once again. Nice micro, nice timing in this game. And canceling an Ancient of Lore. The second Ancient of Lore will be cancelled as well. And now you can see that the Warden trying to creep actually took so much damage, and now the Warden here is about to be Nova coiled, it looks like. And Moonstone being used here as the Warden runs back to the Moonwells. And so the Warden is alive for the moment, and a more focus down on this Lich, but the Lich still has that potion of invulnerability and a death coil going off on that Lich, saving the Lich once again. And now the Warden looks like it's about to go down. Potion of vulnerability being used, and GG is called. WFZ winning WELAS number 2, so he is now the champion. WFZ taking the victory, so winning 3-1 over Lawliet. So a great best of 5 there. Lawliet had such a huge momentum advantage in the first game. He was able to win so decisively, but WFZ remaining cool under pressure, ended up coming back and winning the next 3 in a row. So a nice series by these two players. WFZ will continue on to play in the next WEL. I'm not sure who his opponent will be, but he is now the king of the hill, so he will play again in the next match. Thank you all for watching. I hope to add quite a few more videos and series to the YouTube channel from now on. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you think that it's better to have these videos all as one. Like I said, in the future, if you're watching videos like this, there will be timestamps in all of the videos. If you've made it this far, obviously you've watched the entire series. But let me know what you think, if it's better to keep them as one long video split up with timestamps, or if you would rather have each individual video posted. It just seems a bit easier for me to record all this series at the same time, and it might have been easier for those of you who just want to watch an entire series instead of searching around for videos. But let me know what you think. Thank you once again for watching. I am Aaron. This was War3TV. Before I go, though, I do want to say, check out W3 Arena. If you are not aware of what W3 Arena is, it is a private Warcraft 3 server. There's no hacks there. There's low latency because they use host bots for all of the ladder games. There are a ton of top level players as well as average players and just casual players that play on W3 Arena. So don't forget to visit w3arena.net and support Warcraft 3. Thank you once again for watching. I will see you next time.